Welcome to the History in Focus channel. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss more videos like this one. In this impressive footage, a Boeing 737 from Jeju Air crashes while attempting to land in Muan, South Korea in December 2024. It was later revealed that the devastating impact was caused by a collision with birds. Lightning strikes airplanes about once a year, creating tense moments that rarely result in disasters. Even 12 miles away from a storm, an airplane can be hit, but the lightning's energy is distributed across the fuselage thanks to the Faraday cage effect, keeping passengers safe. However, the flash can temporarily blind the crew, and while rare, strikes can cause minor structural damage like cracks or separations. This video, recorded directly from the plane on November 2, 2013, in Superior, Wisconsin, captures the exact moment two planes collided during a skydiving jump. The Cessna 182 was destroyed, while the Cessna 185 landed with significant damage. A Bombardier lost both engines while approaching Naples Airport, Florida on February 9, 2024. Forced to land on the I-75 highway, the jet collided with a truck and exploded against a concrete wall. During an air show in Snilov, Ukraine, on July 27, 2002, a Sukhoi Su-27 lost control during a low-altitude maneuver, crashing into the audience area and exploding on impact. Investigations revealed planning flaws, such as inadequate safety barriers and low-altitude maneuvers. The tragedy prompted changes in airshow safety protocols, pilot training, and event organization to prevent similar incidents in the future. In this shocking footage, TransAsia's ATR is seen crashing onto a viaduct in Taipei, captured by a passing car's dashcam at the exact moment. On February 4, 2015, the aircraft lost power in its engines, struck a taxi, and plunged into the Keelung River. This recording captures the moment when an Antonov 2 unexpectedly collided with trees during takeoff. Departing from a quiet grassy runway in Vårgårda, Sweden, the plane suffered a severe accident on July 8, 2023. The pilot and 4 passengers miraculously survived with minor injuries. On January 2, 2024, an Airbus A350-900 from JAL Japan Airlines collided with a Japanese Coast Guard aircraft while landing at Tokyo Airport. The front landing gear collapsed on impact, causing the aircraft to slide across the runway. Sparks from friction ignited the A350. Despite intense flames consuming part of the fuselage, all 379 occupants managed to escape. Rescue teams quickly controlled the fire, but the A350 was completely destroyed. Moments of panic marked the flight of a Boeing 777-200 from United that, shortly after taking off from Denver on February 20, 2021, experienced an engine fire. Debris rained down on the neighborhood, including a house as shown in the video. At an airshow in Brazil, a T-27 Tucano from the Esquadrilha da Fumaça was executing an acrobatic maneuver when it lost control and crashed at high speed. The impact, which occurred on April 2, 2010, resulted in an explosion that formed a massive fireball, stunning and shocking the spectators present. In terrifying footage captured by a car camera, a National Air Cargo Boeing 747 stalled dramatically before crashing near Bagram, Afghanistan on April 29, 2013. The aircraft, carrying 5 military vehicles and 7 crew members, was taking off for Dubai when it lost lift shortly after leaving the ground. The recording shows the cargo plane's final moments, climbing unstably before plummeting. In this footage, a Cessna 152 bounced on the runway during landing and lost control while attempting to go around. The left wing stalled and the aircraft crashed shortly after taking off again. The incident occurred on August 1, 2023 in Quebec. From another angle, the exact moment of the crash is captured. This ultralight aircraft suffered an engine failure seconds after takeoff, rapidly losing altitude. The plane struck trees in a desperate attempt to avoid disaster. Despite the impact, the pilot was rescued and survived with severe injuries. While battling a wildfire, the Canadair CL-215 lost control when its right wing tip collided with a tree, resulting in a devastating explosion. The accident occurred in Charistos, Greece, on July 25, 2023. This video, recorded from inside the aircraft, shows the pilot's perspective moments before the crash. Shortly after departing Bruce Meadows Airport, Idaho, a Stinson 108-3 with 4 occupants struck several trees and flipped over. The pilot suffered severe injuries while the passengers had minor injuries and walked away unharmed. The crash was caused by taking off under unsuitable conditions, including high altitude, heat, and maximum weight. During the Point Mugu Air Show on April 20, 2002, N4 crashed while performing alongside other jets for over 25,000 spectators. After an engine flameout, the aircraft lost control and collided. One crew member attempted to eject, but the low altitude prevented the parachute from fully deploying, leading to an inevitable impact. This Russian Su-30 MKI crashed in 1999 during the Le Bourget Air Show in Paris, France. The aircraft performed excessive rotations in a descending loop, scraping the ground while trying to recover altitude. Failing to regain control, it crashed again and exploded into flames. Fortunately, both pilots ejected safely and no injuries were reported. In Grossostheim, Germany, in 2009, a Pitts S-1 entered an uncontrolled spin during an ambitious maneuver. The pilot regained control just meters from the ground and attempted an emergency landing. During the descent, the landing gear struck a parked car near the airfield, tearing off the gear. The plane flipped upside down in a nearby field. Miraculously, the car's occupants suffered only scratches and the pilot had minor injuries. On November 23, 1996, an Ethiopian Airlines Boeing 767 was hijacked en route to Nairobi. With 172 people aboard, it ran out of fuel and crashed into the sea near the Comoros Islands. The impact was violent, causing 122 deaths, including the hijackers. 50 people survived with injuries. During the Lowestoft Seafront Air Festival, a Harrier fighter jet crashed while performing a demonstration. The aircraft suddenly descended and collided with the sea within seconds. Fortunately, the pilot managed to eject successfully at a height of only 65 feet. During a baseball game in Anchorage in July 2003, the camera unexpectedly captured a plane falling onto the field.
Comes right onto the field, right behind the field.
A Cessna 207 faced engine failure caused by an incorrectly selected fuel tank. During the emergency landing, the aircraft collided with objects on the field and flipped. Of the occupants, one was seriously injured, another sustained minor injuries, and 2 escaped unscathed. The stadium spectators were stunned by the dramatic incident. In a dramatic landing, this Embraer EMB from Hala Airline lost control in Mogadishu, Somalia on July 11, 2023. The left landing gear collapsed, causing the aircraft to veer off the runway and crash through the perimeter fence. With 30 passengers and 4 crew members on board, only one person suffered minor injuries, while the plane sustained severe damage as it attempted to stop. During an airshow demonstration, the unthinkable happened. 2 small planes collided midair, crashing violently in front of spectators. Both planes plummeted from the sky, leaving the crowd horrified by the unexpected tragedy at the event. During the Duxford Air Show in July 1996, in the United Kingdom, a Lockheed P-38J Lightning lost control during a roll. It is believed that an object temporarily obstructed the controls, causing the accident. In this remarkable security camera footage, a Cessna 172 crashed into a parking lot in Connecticut after an engine failure. Fortunately, a tree saved the pilot. In these dramatic images, this Harrier plunged uncontrollably, destroying itself entirely after crashing onto the Kandahar airfield runway in Afghanistan in May 2009. The crash caused a fire as the aircraft slid down the runway. The British pilot ejected in time, escaping with only minor injuries. Near the USS John Paul Jones aircraft carrier on September 20, 1995, an American F-14A Tomcat performed a supersonic flyby when it suddenly exploded midair. The pilot pulled the stick excessively, initiating a high G-force maneuver. The forces were so extreme that the aircraft disintegrated in the air. This helicopter was parked on the runway when a DHC from Air Antilles Express lost control while landing in St. Barthélemy, veered off the runway, and collided with it. Occurring on August 24, 2023, of the 7 people aboard the plane, only 1 suffered minor injuries. During the City of Perth Skyworks event, the Grumman G-73 Mallard was flying in a holding pattern at 1,600 feet before its display on January 26, 2017. During a left turn, the aircraft stalled and crashed into the water.
Whoa!
The impact was devastating, marking the event tragically in Australia. This Robinson R-44 Astro helicopter crashed onto a car in Kroonstad, South Africa. The pilot and 3 passengers were on board. Miraculously, there were no fatalities, and only minor injuries were reported. The accident was caused by the pilot mistakenly turning off the main hydraulic systems. In this video, a Bell TH-67 helicopter belonging to the Little Rock Police Department was undergoing tests after new equipment installation. During ground procedures, a sudden gust of wind destabilized the aircraft, causing a severe crash. The helicopter was completely destroyed, and the sole pilot on board sustained serious injuries. In these images, a news helicopter lost control and crashed onto the roof of a building in Brooklyn, New York, in a shocking incident. During the impact, the aircraft split in 2, scattering debris across the site. On board were the pilot, co-pilot, and a reporter, who faced moments of extreme danger. Despite the severity of the crash and destruction caused, all occupants survived with only minor injuries. During the Ramstein Air Show on August 28, 1988, 3 jets from the Freche Tricolori team collided midair during a disastrous maneuver. One of the jets crashed into the crowd, while the other 2 collided near the runway. The explosions caused extensive damage, leaving onlookers stunned by the tragedy.
Where the plane crashed down.
From various angles, the devastating impact at Ramstein was captured, showing explosions and the panic among spectators. These recordings became historic evidence of one of the deadliest airshow disasters in aviation history. At a small airport in Texas, a Cessna 172 collided with an SUV while landing when the vehicle crossed a road near the runway without noticing the aircraft. On June 8, 2010, at Reagan National Airport, a biplane was part of an aerial demonstration promoting the film Legends of Flight. After landing, the plane briefly rolled before flipping over. A cockpit camera captured the tense moments as the pilot and reporter on board emerged unharmed. The accident left the biplane with a bent propeller, stabilizer damage, and wing damage, ending up inverted on the runway. On November 12, 2022, in Dallas, Texas, USA, a Boeing B-17G Flying Fortress and a Bell P-63F King Cobra collided in midair during the Wings Over Dallas Air Show. The P-63 struck the B-17 from behind, separating its fuselage and tail. During an air show in Buenos Aires, Argentina, on March 11, 2007, a biplane famous for its acrobatic prowess collided with the ground while executing a daring maneuver. The aircraft suddenly lost altitude, crashing dramatically in front of stunned spectators. The pilot was renowned for his high-risk and precise performances. In this stunning footage, a Supermarine Spitfire, an aviation icon, suffered a devastating accident while attempting a loop. The pilot miscalculated the altitude, and the maneuver ended with the plane touching the ground before completing the movement. The impact was brutal, shocking spectators who witnessed the iconic World War II aircraft meet such a tragic fate. In these images, a remarkable landing unfolds. This Beechcraft touched down dramatically after its nose landing gear separated during rollout. Sparks from the landing gear illuminated the runway as the pilot skillfully controlled the plane to a safe stop. In a stunning scene, a Russian Su-34 fighter jet collided with a residential building in Yeysk, Russia on October 17, 2022. One pilot ejected seconds before the crash, seen parachuting in the video, creating an unforgettable moment. A breathtaking scene. This Belanca Viking experienced engine failure, and the pilot attempted a water landing. However, the aircraft stalled just a few feet above the surface and collided violently with the lake. Miraculously, all on board survived. In this stunning video, two planes collide mid-air during an acrobatic display along the Alba Adriatica coastline, Italy, on May 31, 2015. The Van's RV-8 lost a wing and fell into the sea, while the Van's RV-7 managed a forced landing on the beach, flipping on touchdown. Known for their agility, these home-built aircraft faced a tragic end. This British aerospace Nimrod crashed on September 2, 1995, during the Canadian International Air Show in Toronto. The aircraft stalled after a poorly calculated maneuver at insufficient altitude for recovery. The impact occurred in the water, shocking the event's audience. In this stunning crash, the Korean F-16C flew in flames before colliding violently with the ground at high speed. The incident occurred on February 26, 2002, after taking off from Sosan Air Base, South Korea. Fortunately, the pilot safely ejected. In these dramatic scenes, a Squirrel helicopter crashes while erecting a 7-story Christmas tree in Auckland, New Zealand. The main rotor struck a support cable, generating uncontrollable forces that severely damaged the aircraft. Despite the impact, the pilot suffered only minor injuries. The accident occurred in November 2011. In these impressive scenes, a Mi-24 helicopter is struck by a missile while flying near Kyiv, Ukraine. The explosion caused the aircraft to crash. The video, released on March 5, 2022, highlights the danger of manpads, portable missiles, lethal to low-altitude aircraft. While attempting to land at the busy Grenchen airfield on June 18, 2008, an Écureuil helicopter from Hilly, Swiss, unexpectedly lost control. The aircraft began spinning on its axis and eventually toppled onto its side. Fortunately, no injuries were reported, but the helicopter sustained significant damage. In these shocking images, an F-7U Cutlass missed its landing on the USS Hancock aircraft carrier, colliding with the ramp and causing a fatal explosion. Amid a heavy snowstorm, a Russian Tu-22 bomber bounced violently on the runway and split in two during a low-visibility landing. The incident occurred on January 22, 2019 at Olenia Air Base, Russia. The pilot failed to perform the flare maneuver, resulting in the devastating impact and the aircraft splitting into two parts. During the thrilling air show in Poland on September 24, 2022, two Zlin Z-526 aircraft performed acrobatic maneuvers in perfect synchronization when disaster struck. The planes collided mid-air in a devastating impact. The collision was so violent that both planes disintegrated instantly, crashing in flames. The audience, initially captivated, was left shocked by the dramatic scene. During an acrobatic display on September 1, 2007, in Radom, Poland, two Zelazny team planes collided in mid-air. The accident happened as three pilots separated and attempted to regroup. In the process, two aircraft collided violently, leading to a fatal crash. In these images, the Delta II rocket explodes mid-air just seconds after launch, creating a massive fireball that lights up the sky. The failure was caused by technical issues during the initial phase of flight. Captured by a fixed-wing camera, this stunning video shows a PZL Bielsko glider diving into the ground after striking a tree. The accident occurred near Żernica, Poland, on April 30, 2018. The pilot, performing dangerously low aerobatics in an unapproved glider, tragically met his end. A bird struck the windshield of this aircraft, creating a moment of tension inside the cockpit. Despite the unexpected impact, the pilot maintained control and managed to land safely a few minutes later. The pilot's skill prevented what could have been a much more serious situation. In Australia, a Just Superstol attempted a short-distance landing, approaching at very low speed. The excess slowness caused the right wing to stall, leading the plane to crash onto the runway. Despite the dramatic impact, the pilot walked away unharmed, leaving spectators amazed by his luck.
So we've got our emergency teams responding. So if you could please stay off you.
This Me-Too helicopter was performing a demonstration at an air show when it entered a rapid descent. The pilot failed to reduce the descent rate in time, resulting in a dramatic impact with the ground. The shocking scene left the audience stunned as the aircraft struck with a loud crash. A devastating explosion occurred in Tobruk, Libya, when a plane collided in a residential area in September 2014. The Libyan Air Force MiG-21 suffered a technical failure, leading to the catastrophic crash. At the Fairford International Air Tattoo in Gloucestershire, United Kingdom, on July 24, 1993, two MiG-29 Fulcrum jets from the Russian Air Force were involved in a dramatic accident. During a maneuver, one jet lost control after being struck by the other's wing and crashed in flames far from the crowd.
Despite the instant inferno, there was only one minor scorching injury on the ground.
The pilot ejected and landed with minor injuries. The other MiG-29 also lost control and burned until it collided with the ground. Investigators cited human error as one pilot lost visual contact with his colleague during the maneuver, leading to the collision.
2 to 3 seconds after impact.
During the Stockholm Water Festival on August 8, 1993, a Saab JOS 39 Gripen entered a low-speed maneuver that quickly spiraled out of control. The pilot, facing flight system failures, managed to eject seconds before the crash. The aircraft fell just 30 meters from the crowd, creating a dramatic scene as it exploded. In these images, a test flight ended in tragedy when the prototype Ilyushin Il-112V suffered a fire in its right engine just 4 minutes after takeoff. The aircraft lost control, rolling dramatically at low altitude before crashing into a wooded area. The incident occurred on August 17, 2021 at Kubinka Air Base, Russia, marking a devastating setback for the program.
Sure.
In this footage, during a training flight in Orlando, Florida, an attempt to land on a golf course ended with a collision with power lines. The plane suffered a complete engine failure, forcing it to crash into the ground. The incident occurred on January 11, 2005, and investigations revealed the cause was an oil leak that led to total engine failure. This video shows the Embraer from Azerbaijan Airlines crashing near Aktau, Kazakhstan on December 25, 2024. After control issues and an explosion reported by a survivor, the plane crashed 1.6 nautical miles from the airport. Evidence suggests it was hit by a missile before the accident. During a display at the Shoreham Air Show in Shoreham by Sea, England, a Hawker Hunter T-7 attempted a loop but failed to gain sufficient altitude. The aircraft crashed onto the A27 road, destroying vehicles and damaging the surrounding area. Investigators found that low entry speed and insufficient engine power compromised the maneuver. During an acrobatic display in Santa Catarina, Brazil, on April 2, 2010, a Tucano from the Esquadrilha da Fumaça team suffered a tragic accident. While performing a high-risk maneuver, the aircraft lost lift and crashed into the ground, creating an impressive explosion captured on video. Flames quickly consumed the scene. During an air show, these pilots attempted an impressive maneuver but lost control, crashing into a house and causing a devastating explosion. The entire incident was captured on camera, leaving spectators shocked by the dramatic scene. In these scenes, this plane, a modified version of the de Havilland Canada DHC-4, became uncontrollable seconds after takeoff, resulting in a devastating crash. The accident occurred on August 27, 1992, during a test flight. The rudder and aileron locks were not properly disengaged, sealing the aircraft's fate. During the AeroGP event in Malta on September 10, 2006, two stunt planes collided mid-air during a daring maneuver. One lost altitude and cut the other's tail with its right wing. Both planes crashed into the sea, while the pilot of the second plane managed to eject and escape dramatically. Shortly after departing Jundiaí, Brazil on April 20, 2012, this Beech C-90A faced an emergency. The pilot resolved the issue and proceeded to land, but during the final turn before approach, the right wing stalled. The aircraft crashed 590 feet from the runway, exploding on impact and leaving a devastating scene captured by a bystander. Although the snow softened the impact, it was no less dramatic. On February 8, 2019, a Piper PA-46 landed too late on runway 22 at Courchevel in the French Alps. The pilot attempted to brake, but the plane skidded and collided with a snow mound at the end of runway 04. Of the 5 occupants, 4 sustained minor injuries. This ski-fitted Cessna 172 flipped and crashed while attempting to take off from a snow-covered runway in Canada. The dramatic accident highlights the challenges of operating in extreme winter conditions.
Rien, quoi.